Hello again. This is our last video for the Little Beginner Animation Camp. So I'm so excited that I had you guys and thank you so much. So the next step that I'm going to do is I'll be taking an amalgamation of your animations that you've made over the past few weeks, and I will set up a small little YouTube for you and your parents to get to view the work that you've done over the camp. So we've only really touched base on like the first three principles of animation. So squash and stretch, time and motion, and anticipation. And so I want to kind of go over more, of course, but I'll just talk more about like backgrounds and the walk cycle. We'll focus just on those two on this video. All right, so when we're discussing like dealing with the backgrounds, what a lot of animators will do, at least in the 2D realm of traditional form or digital form, is we pre-make the backgrounds. And we do a thing of layering for animation to give it the illusion that the painted background is interacted and animated with the actual character. Now, if you have time, you're more than welcome to input a background for your walk cycle. If not, it's more important you at least get the walk cycle done. Say that you have a mountainous terrain with a lot of trees. Some of the trees in the back you won't notice moving so much, and which, think of it in real life, when you look further back, it's hard to see movement when it's further back. Wherefore, if it's up close, you get a little bit more of the details. And what they do is they have the background be all the still painting, while in the foreground or like upper layer, they have maybe a couple trees that they, instead of just watercoloring putting them back, they hand paint or they draw to have slight movements or shakes of the wind. And sometimes you're in the city and you don't see much movement, so the animation of the background doesn't move as much or as subtle. It's always good to have your background maybe slightly moving. Not always, but it's usually a good one, because the more the character interacts with the background or the world around it, the more the audience can be illusioned into this world that you've created. All right, and now we're going to kind of discuss the walk cycle. So we all know that we're doing the walk cycle, but there's a little bit of tips and tricks of the walk cycle. So last week I mentioned how actually doing it in like jagged steps, kind of to get the feel for it and the gravity of how things are, but also put into consideration time and weight. So there's weight, and what I mean is not if the person's heavy or skinny, it's where does the weight carry the character. And maybe it is, if the character has a big belly, then as they walk, the belly may jiggle slightly, because humans don't just levitate, walk in a straight motion. We move our arms and we bob our head as we walk. And so consider that when you're doing your walk cycle. Although you can do levitating, like all the same types, it's a lot more natural to have our walk cycle slightly duck when we have an impact on the ground and lift up when we're pushing up. So the walk cycle isn't a straight line, it's like a fun little curvy roller coaster, a nice subtle curvy roller coaster. It can be a little bit more extreme if you'd like, but yeah, a curvy roller coaster. Here's a little bit of a trick of what you can do with the head. Like, I like to just draw them all out in a circle and have a plan for that. Or when I'm drawing, as I'm drawing, I just know to push the head down and just focus on the head for a brief moment. Another thing with that is kind of the leg movement. There's this fun, weird little graphic bell curve that the legs will kind of do. So if we're considering one step on how it works, it starts at the base, it starts to tilt, it lifts up at its most tilted, comes back down to land to the floor, and hits the floor. It kind of looks like this shape. And the more detailed your character is, the more I would actually look at your feet and see how the joints and muscles and movements of your feet actually look as you walk, or as you want your character to walk, and study to where's the balls of your feet, how your toes move as you walk, and things along that, because a lot of animation is taking in the natural world and playing with it. so glad to have you guys. Thank you so much for being in my camp. So the next step for you guys is any touch-ups I would like to have done by, I'd say, Monday, the following Monday after our last meeting. I'd like to have them all, the touch-ups and everything done by the Monday of our last, the next following Monday of our last meeting. And if you would like, go ahead and send me your pictures. You can email it or text it to me, whichever works for you. Or if you have an actual like digital file, you're welcome to email me the digital file, or if it's very big, let me know and I'll try to figure out some way between you and your parents, and we'll figure something out to get in there. And after all the things are sent, after the following Monday of our last meeting, then I will go ahead and compile all the animations and put them into a little video showcasing your work. So I hope you guys enjoyed the camp, and I continue that beautiful pursuit of art, knowledge, happiness, and animation. Bye.